Anderson, first things first. How are you?
Good.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
Nice.
What I want to start with is, do you remember the first album you ever had?
I think it was Doggystyle.
Okay.
I had it for maybe like a few days, and then my step-pops at the time took it away because it had a lot of profanity on it. And like the next day I heard him playing it in his car as he was rolling up, so yeah.
What did appeal to you in this album?
I just remember loving the video. I mean, the song was everywhere. Like G Thing was like everywhere, and then Gin and Juice. And I just remember being up and just watching all the videos. You know, watching like the house party vibes that they have, the barbecue with the kid, and like you know, Snoop with the marijuana leaf hat, the white hat, and like. And they opened the fridge and it was just nothing but like 40 ounces and stuff. It was just like, I remember those strong visuals as a kid, just like being just, you know, mesmerized kind of. And I wanted that tape. And I loved the artwork on the tape. It was like a drawing, you know, a cartoon. So that was fascinating too. And I just loved all that music. All the singles from that record were just amazing. And we used to just talk about it at school all the time.
What age was this?
I was in maybe like first grade. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old.
And this is quite young, so did you have an inclination towards music already at this point?
Yeah, I definitely was a fan of music. I definitely was into hip-hop music, and my mom was always playing like soul music and all that stuff, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire, and Stevie. So music was definitely in the household, and I was already like writing rap songs and stuff, but I was really in love with the culture, you know. I loved watching the videos, I loved the movies. My older sisters were really into R&B and hip hop, so I just loved whatever they did.
When did you pick up drumming?
I was about 12 years old, 6th grade. I started playing in the orchestra band. I wanted to play saxophone, but there was no more saxophones left. And there was a big bass drum, and I remember looking at the bass drum like, what is that? And I was like, okay, I'll play that. And I did that for like a year. And I didn't really like orchestra band. It was like kind of boring for me. But during that year, I went home one day and my step-pops was playing a drum set. And he had bought a drum set. And he was like, yeah, I heard you're playing drums, so I got a drum set. I'd never seen a full drum set in person. And I just thought it was amazing. And I wanted to like, you know, try it, get on it. And I picked it up really quick. I don't think I ever picked up anything that quick before.
And you say you were already at that time writing rap, so did songs already start to form with that drumming background?
I mean, as a kid, you know, everybody wanted to be a rapper. Everybody thought they were like gonna be the next hot stuff. And I remember just wanting to just impress my cousins and like write raps with my cousins and act tough. But I wasn't really serious about anything until I got to the drums, and then after I got the drums, I just wanted to drum. That was it. I didn't really think about like just writing songs or anything like that. I just wanted to like drum and learn drum beats, and then when I got into church and playing at the church, playing drums for the church, it was just about learning songs, that, you know, learning all the different church songs that we were gonna play every Sunday, and just like being the best drummer. You know, I was really into drums.
When did you rediscover rap then?
I think when I started producing. So I got a pair of turntables like in 7th grade, and I was DJing in middle school. And then when I got to like 9th grade, I got an MPC, and I started producing and making my own beats. And once I started making my own beats, that's when I got back into songwriting, and that's when I got back into writing raps and even kind of dabbling in singing a little bit.
And well, you are a producer, so even to this day, do you notice that your drumming background had an influence on the way you produce? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was just a great foundation, you know, starting off with drums. It's like a big part of production, you know, especially in hip hop. And that was just always like my strongest point, and it helped me. And then even with writing, it just helped so much with my vocal approach and the way I heard rhythm and stuff. It was always related it to the drums, and so my cadences and all that stuff was super important to me always.
What was the first song that you kind of wrote in this period that you thought, well, there's actually something to this?
I remember I had a song in high school, and it was about dating like all these different women all over the world. And I had like the African girl, I had the Asian, I had the South American girl, and like each girl that I dated, the beat. Oh, I had the white girl that was in the rock and roll. So each beat that I did, it like suited the girl,
Sure.
you know, her nationality. So it started off with like a rock beat or whatever, and then it went, when I got to the Asian girl, it had this little like pan flute beat. And I remember after I finished that, I thought I was just like, you know, a genius. I was like, oh dude, this is a masterpiece. And it was just like these little corny raps and stuff. But I had a whole demo tape like in high school. Like by the time I was like a junior, I had a full on mixtape, so.
Do you still have that tape?
I do. I think I do have it somewhere, or my brother-in-law has it somewhere. But yeah, it's around for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we fast forward a little bit to where you are now, and with that tape in mind, what do you see, how do you see your own progression as a musician, or your development? Could you hear traces of what you're doing now back then?
I think there was a lot of ambition, you know, back then. It was, my whole career has been a lot of artist development. And I think I'm a very talented person, and growing up I had a lot of talent. I was able to do a lot of things, but it took me a while to really master a few things, and still I feel like, you know, the only thing I really have spent that much time on to be even considered a master on is probably the drums. And that's the closest thing. Everything else has been a work in progress, especially singing, especially, you know, emceeing and producing. It's all been a work in progress, and I think the ambition was there always, but just getting that foundation right, and finding the right, you know, production for myself, and writing style and tone and all that stuff has been just a work in progress for me. But I think there is hints, you know, I think mostly it's just I was ambitious, you know, and that's all I can say. I mean, I think it's pretty horrible when you hear it now, but a lot of stuff had to happen in order to get where I'm at now. You know, a lot of stuff happened in my personal life that didn't happen, you know, in my young high school years. I had no clue what was going to happen. So those times were just, you know, really early, and I just had no clue. I was just shooting from the hip, and that was kind of what I do now, but that was such an early phase. But I think it was a lot of ambition.
Well, you mentioned this ambition, and well, as shines through in the songs, you didn't have the easiest childhood.
Right.
So do you know where this ambition came from? Why you were so set on getting this or achieving this?
I just had a passion for it. I mean, a lot of people, they don't get the opportunity to be exposed to a lot of things, and then therefore they don't get to see like this is something I really like, and this is something I'm gonna do. And I was given that opportunity, you know. I was raised in a household where it was really supportive of what I was doing, and once I decided I wanted to do music, you know, my parents, my sisters, everybody was very supportive of that, and they kind of, you know, pushed. When they saw that I was taking interest in it, then they pushed, you know. They were like, yeah, that's what's up, man. They were very supportive, and I was able to go with that. And then by the time I got to high school, I just knew, like, I was going to be the next thing. I thought I was going to be signed to Jay-Z on Rockefeller. Like, that was my thing. And then had a bunch of stuff happen. You know, my mom and my step-pops got thrown into prison when I was 17. And that kind of, like, threw a monkey wrench in everything. And I stopped doing music for a while. But I stopped in the sense of I stopped really chasing it. You know, when I was a senior, I was getting, you know, invited to go out and travel and take these meetings with different record companies who thought, you know, I could maybe be on the production team or blah, blah, blah. And then all this stuff happened, and I lost interest. You know, I was, you know, sick of it, and I couldn't focus on it. And I stopped doing it, but even when I stopped chasing it, I was always kind of still messing with it. and always playing drums. Usually, I was always playing drums every Sunday. So, you know, once I was, you know, I bounced around and lived a little bit of life, and you know, went back and forth, and you know, did a bunch of things, lived life, and went through these different experiences, and kind of came back to it. And when I came back to it the second time, it was even a stronger passion that I had for it. And I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. Like, once I seen how I can affect people, see people that I could get people in a room and see how their reactions were, like I could heal people with it, then I wanted to do that forever. And it was just always a matter of how much I really wanted it, because I was always going to do it, but my passion or my desire, my obsession for it varied in different stages of my life. And I think at this point it's probably at an all-time high, and I really want, you know, I really want it now. And it just took different turns and different situations to really make me focus on it.